bet. Now let's get some rapid-fire response from our panel on these stories tonight. The oil spill may be making Halliburton nervous. They've made more political donations last month than they have since September of 2008. And a lot of the money went to members of Congress who sit on committees overseeing the oil spill response. More than interesting. George W. Bush, well, he's staying the course on torture. In a speech in Michigan last night, the former president said again that if he had to do it all over again, he'd still waterboard 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. And Vice President Joe Biden downplays the Tea Party and sees trouble for the Republican Party ahead. With us tonight, radio talk show host, nationally syndicated Stephanie Miller, and also nationally syndicated talk show host Bill Press. And he is also the author of Toxic Talk, How Radical Right Has Poisoned American Airwaves. Except, of course, when the three of us are on the air straightening things out.
You've got it. Hi, Ed. Hi, Stephanie.
Good, Bill. A good book for you, Bill. Way to go. Stephanie, great to have you on with us tonight. All right, let's talk about the Halliburton political donations. Stephanie, it's not a whole lot of money that they're forking out right now, but certainly we're seeing a pattern. What do you think's going to happen here?
Gee, Ed, it's really strange, isn't it? 13-to-1 donations to Republicans over Democrats. What do you think they could be afraid of, I wonder? You know, we've had Rick Perry now and some other Republican yesterday, Ed, saying this is an act of God. Yeah, maybe not. Maybe an act of Halliburton, an act of BP. Yeah, they're getting nervous, and justifiably so.
Bill Press, this is just the way Washington works. Even in the midst of a tragedy that we've got going on down in the Gulf, they just won't back off. What do you make of it?
No, I was going to say, Ed, this is how we got in this mess in the first place. Oil companies throwing so much money around Washington, not only in the Congress, but in the federal agencies, that they could do whatever the hell they wanted down in the Gulf, didn't have to have any plans to fix any mess that they might have created. I got to tell you, Ed, I think this is tainted money. This is polluted money. Every one of these politicians ought to be ashamed of themselves. They ought to give that money back, or maybe better yet, they ought to send it down to the Gulf. Send it down to the fishermen, Plaquemines Parish, who lost their jobs.
Stephanie, why would George W. Bush not relent whatsoever on torture when obviously there's been a legal ruling in this country not to do it, and the administration obviously has got a different direction? What do you make of the former president speaking up like this?
Well, you know me, Ed. I'm always happy when we have more evidence for the Hague. I'm happy to have him keep talking as much as possible. You know, Ed, I think we all know the truth of the Khalid Sheikh Mohammed waterboarding. We had the information before we waterboarded him how many zillions of times. If it's so effective, Ed, why do you have to do it so many times? And we already had the information before we did it. So, you know, this makes no sense at all to me.
Bill Press, isn't former President Bush kind of breaking one of his own rules of second-guessing the sitting president?
Well, he declined today to criticize Obama on anything, but he did on this torture thing. I got to agree with Stephanie. I mean, come on. You know, look, first of all, he says he's proud that he committed an illegal act of torture. He's also proud that he took us into an illegal war in Iraq. I mean, he's doing a good job of representing the criminal class. But I'm happy to see George Bush. Every time, Ed, that we get frustrated as liberals with Barack Obama, trot George Bush out again, and then we'll realize how lucky we are.
All right, this is what Joe Biden had to say, the vice president talking to Charlie Rose on the Tea Party and the Republican Party. Here it is.
I think the Tea Party is still a fairly distinct minority, even within the Republican Party. And there are some Democrats rooting for the Tea Party to take over the Republican Party.
Are you one of them?
No, but you know that, I mean, here you had Mitch McConnell being clobbered in his own state by a person who thought he was Mitch's too liberal.
Right.
So there is some
his
trouble.
Candidate lost to Ron Paul.
Right. There is some trouble in paradise.
Stephanie, what do you make of the vice president's position on this?
You know, I never thought I would say this sentence on your show, Ed, but Mitch McConnell was right. Rand Paul's crazy. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Hey, Ed, I got to tell you, I disagree with Joe Biden on this. I'm rooting for the Tea Party. I think the more Republican primaries that they win, the better. And the more candidates we get like Rand Paul, the better for Democrats. I mean, we've got a shot in Kentucky now, never had one before. I hope the Tea Party candidate that Sarah Palin just endorsed in Alaska wins up there. So, you know, go Tea Party.
Let me get a prediction. Let me get a prediction from both of you on next Tuesday primary in Arkansas. Will it be Bill Halter or will it be Blanche Lincoln? Stephanie, who wins it?
Listen, honey, Ed Schultz is behind Bill Halter. I say Bill Halter in a walk. I think that, you know, it's what you and I and Bill and a lot of people have been saying for a while, Ed, is that, you know, on health care, some people aren't for it because they want it to be more progressive. And I think it's going to be Bill Halter.
Bill, who wins it? Who wins it next Tuesday night?
Bill Halter wins it because the people of Arkansas want a real Democrat representing them and fighting for health care and other good issues.
All right. Great to have you with us tonight. Bill Press, Stephanie Miller, always a pleasure. Coming up.